Hey guys, so I am here today for a college Q&A. I asked on Instagram, as I always do, for questions, and I got quite a few. I have not pre-picked these questions, so I'm going to have to give these answers on the fly because I don't even know what you guys asked. So let's just get started. My first question comes from Kel Choi, and she asked, was your first semester of freshman year difficult? More so talking about adjusting, making friends, and meeting new people. I found that being a freshman is like the ideal position to be in to meet new people because all the freshmen are just like way excited about life and just being away from home and being in college and oh my god, college, yeah, and crazy. So that's not me. I'm definitely more of an asocial person. I don't really like being around people if I don't have to. That sounds bad. It's just more of like I'm very comfortable being alone. I prefer it generally, so meeting new people wasn't exactly a goal of mine. I really liked my roommate. We're still friends to this day, and I met people through her, friends of hers. I met people who lived around me. I didn't become close friends with any of them, but I didn't really have any issues, mainly because I kept to myself. That being said, I don't think that it's that hard to make friends because there's so many people around and there are so many different clubs and things that you can join, maybe not in your first semester but maybe in your second one. So I know a lot of people just stress out about not making friends and feeling very alone in a big campus especially, but I think that once you find your niche and whatever major you go in, you can find a lot of people in smaller classes that way as well. So just don't worry about it too much. Leah Gittins, 21, asks, do you have any advice for going through half of college and then deciding to change your major? Has it happened to you or anyone you know? I've talked about this before, but I didn't declare my psych major until my second year, and I was still very iffy about being a psych major even when I declared it. I had to declare one, so I just said I'm going to do psych. And I don't regret being a psych major. I really don't. I love psychology and I found all of my classes very interesting and very educational as far as like just daily life and people and humans and interaction and stuff like that, and emotions and all of that. I mean, psych is a very interesting subject. I find that it's very relevant to everybody. It's just not taken seriously necessarily unless you pursue it further. If you've come to find that halfway through you want to do something else and you are sure that it's something that you want to do, just do it because it's better than going through your full college career in a major that you don't want to use, that you don't have any interest in anymore, especially if you have something else that you actually want to do. In my brain, it makes sense to actually do what you want to do. I know that's not always possible, but I would suggest just doing it. And if you have to spend a little bit of extra time in college, or if you have to take some extra classes at a community college instead of a university or whatever your situation is, I think it's worth it to do so. I want to just put this out there. I get a lot of questions from international students, and I can't talk about that because I'm from California and I went to a Californian school, so I can't really speak about the differences between international schools and my school and the process of being an international student coming to the school because I don't know what that situation is. I've also gotten the question about if I could explain how American colleges work in the most basic forms of like what's a major, what's a minor, what are GEs, stuff like that. So if anyone is interested in that video, I could do it, but it's the simplest things that you can look up online. And I feel like I would almost feel a little bit ridiculous making that sort of video, but if there's a high demand for it, let me know and I'll do it. Brianna Grimes 7 asks, oh holy moly, a lot of questions. So she asks, do you think a major should be chosen based on interest or future job availability? Because the majors that would definitely make me happy offer degrees in areas that my parents say won't make money. So happiness or money essentially is what she's asking. I have a lot of experience with this because as a psych major, everyone knows psych majors don't really have any sort of field to go into unless you again pursue it further. So a lot of psych majors go into marketing, they go into communications, they go into retail, they do all these different things. They can become counselors or teaching. It's just you don't really know what to do with a psych major because there's no specific direction to go in. So I have a lot of experience with this whole You know, do you want to be this major because you want to be this major, or do you want to pick a major that makes money immediately or has a direct career path for you to make money? Ideally, there would be some sort of balance between the two where not only could you have a career, but you would also be interested in that particular career and major. So I would hope that you could find something that would have a bit of the two at least. I obviously picked psych, and I didn't pick something that was, you know, more concrete in the direction of my life. And as I said, I don't regret being a psych major, so hopefully that tells you something. She also asks, do universities care more about taking more APs and getting good grades in the actual classes or the score on the AP test? That is a good question because I don't know the answer, but I will say that I personally, and I think everybody else agrees with me, that taking APs and doing poorly in them doesn't look any better than taking a regular class and doing well in it. So, I mean, even if you want the college credit or to show that you're taking the initiative, if you're doing poorly in it, if you get a bad AP test score or whatever, if you don't do well in it, it's not gonna look good, regardless. It's just not. Oh, she has a follow-up to that one, because to be honest, I'm not gonna pass this Calc BC test. It's impossible, Katie. Well, I got a 5 on the Calc BC test. I had an excellent Calc teacher. I had the same teacher for AB and BC. He was a phenomenal teacher. He was very intimidating, very scary, but he was a great teacher. I think it really depends on who you have, because I did very well on my Calc AB tests. Okay, Posh Posse with 2 E's at the end asks, is it okay that I'm going to a community college even though I know I won't slack off? I'm scared that people will judge me. And then she has like 2 like face emojis after it. Okay, look, so when you're in high school and everyone's getting their acceptance letters and everyone's talking about what colleges everyone got into, and even transitioning into actually going to college in the fall, and you know, the excitement of like, oh, like they're going there and all the pictures on Facebook and Instagram, blah blah blah. Okay, look, after like the maybe like the first year, like nobody even cares anymore. After 2 years, a lot of people who go to community colleges anyway transfer to the bigger universities, and a lot of people just don't even remember that they didn't go there in the first place. Now, that may be different because I went directly to a UC. I don't really have any experience of transferring to my university, but I'm someone who, like, you know what? I'm very proud of the fact that I got into my school when I did, but I'm also, I don't really feel any like anger or resentment to anyone who didn't get in freshman year. What if they transferred, like whatever, like good for you, because you obviously worked hard enough to get into the school at some point. So I mean, I don't really understand, like there's no reason to judge is what I'm trying to say. And if you won't slack off, if you're gonna work really hard, I don't know if you plan to transfer in the future or if you're just gonna go through your community college, but hats off to you, man, because that's fine. I think that's fine. In fact, I went to a community college for a couple classes when I was in high school, and then I took both my Spanish classes that I needed to graduate. I actually took them at community college. I definitely made more friends in my community college classes than in my university classes, and I liked them more, I liked my professors more, so I'm just saying. Bella_Bruno_ asks, is it hard to have alone time or privacy in college when you have a roommate? Also when, crap. No. Also, when it comes to meal plans, what do you recommend? So I wanted to address this first question really quick because I was someone who stayed in my room a lot, like a lot. I only had a roommate my freshman year in the dorms, and then in the apartments we all had our own rooms. So I never really had an issue beyond that first year. And my roommate and I, Yasmin, we didn't have any issues as far as like privacy went. I feel like since I was mostly in the room, she probably felt more of an issue than I did because I didn't really, like, she never said anything. She would like text me if she was bringing someone over or if she had someone over, or because then I would know to like not be around, and you know, that's how college works, man. It's totally fine. I don't really have a problem with it, so it's just communication is key. If you get along with your roommate, it's so much easier. And meal plans, we didn't actually have a choice. We had the standard meal plan where they gave you like a certain amount of money that you could spend in the entire year, and that was up to you to figure out how you were going to do that. And there was also where you could buy extra dollars, dining dollars, to add to the original plan, but you couldn't really choose beyond that, I don't think. Anyway, I never needed anything more than the regular one. In fact, if there was a smaller one, I would have gone with that one, but there aren't a whole lot of choices at my school. Emily E. Blanco asks, do you feel like college is worth the money? So on a lot of my College Talk videos, I have a lot of really negative people saying like, don't go to college, college isn't worth it, college is a waste of 4 years, blah blah blah. I cannot tell you how angry those comments make me. My parents were able to finance my whole college career, mine, my older brothers, now my younger brothers, and I'm very grateful for that. I would not take that for granted any day because I know there are plenty of people, the majority of people, who do not have that ability, or anyone who's in college. I know there are tons of people who have student loans, who need financial aid, so I'm very grateful for the fact that I was able to go to college. Now people say, is it worth the money? I think any college education is worth the money. Now, of course, your quality, I guess, of education is going to depend on where you go to school. The like prestige of your degree is going to depend on where you go to school, but I think any college education is better than none. That is my personal opinion. I'm sure people are going to disagree with it, but that's how I feel about that. So if you're going to ask me if it's worth the money, I say yes. Fash for Day 7 asks, if you could have traveled abroad, where would you have gone? I've always said that I would have gone to England, London probably, just because they speak English, but I don't know. I feel like now maybe I would have wanted to go to Japan if that was possible. I don't speak Japanese, but I think it would have been a really cool experience. Those are probably the two that I would have gone with. I have a friend who went to Italy, and that's very appealing too because I know Spanish fairly well, and she said that Italian is very similar to Spanish, so I probably could have gotten by okay in Italy, but I never traveled or studied abroad, so. And did anything super crazy happen while you were living on campus? By the way, I love you in your vids. You know I think you're a bad bitch. LOL. I love your comments. Your comments are always the best. Thank you. I love you too. Nothing super crazy happened while I was living on campus, but last year, my last year of college, someone died. And my school has this major music festival once a year. It's like when all of these nerds and bookworms come out and have fun and go crazy and get drunk and apparently die. So be careful, people, because you just really need to know your limits and keep track of how many drinks you are drinking. Just don't do drugs. I'm fully okay. Look, you guys know I don't like to drink. I drink very minimally. I am of age. I'm 23 now, so I am legal, but I don't enjoy alcohol like other people do. And I don't do drugs. No drugs. Zero drugs for me. I am very against drugs. I have a very difficult time being around people who do drugs too, just because it makes me so uncomfortable. And knowing the consequences of using drugs is just like, if you ever have the chance to turn them down. Farts.jpg, JPEG, farts.jpg. I'm not gonna question it. What are the pros and cons of a quarter system? So I think I've talked about this before, but the pros of a quarter system are the fact that it's so fast-paced that if you hate a course, you only have it for 10 weeks and then it's over. That's probably the only pro I would give it, because the quarter system, not so fun, especially if you're someone who needs more time to process things. Too bad you only have 10 weeks to learn an entire course load. So for those of you who don't know how a quarter system works, it is only 10 weeks as opposed to a semester system. We have 3 quarters throughout the year, and there's also summer sessions, but those are separate. So the cons of a quarter system, the fact that you only have 10 weeks to learn all of these things in a course. Normally, most semester systems anyway have midterms mid-term. In a quarter system, you might have 3 midterms in 10 weeks, which means you'll have one like week 3 or 4, and then week like 6 or 7, and then some evil professors will give you another one like week 9 or 10. I've had a midterm during week 10. How is week 10 midterm? Do tell me that, college professors. So that can be really stressful if you're having a hard time processing things so quickly. Again, 10 weeks can be really, really difficult. Summer session, which is, I believe, 5 weeks, is even more difficult because you learn an entire course load in 5 weeks, which don't even get me started on that because I've done it several times. And then, of course, another con of the course system is if you love a class, then you only have it for 10 weeks. So, I mean, there's that too.
Hard to say, none of you asked like fun questions. They're all like very negative and sad. Like, did you struggle? Can you name things you didn't enjoy? Like, can I name things that I did enjoy? Oh, this is so sad.
Alright, last question I'm going to answer comes from _Rachel, maybe? Asks, on average, how many units did you take in a quarter? What was the hardest class you've taken at the UC school you attended? Okay, so each class is 4 units, generally speaking. So I took at least 3 sets, 12. Some were worth like maybe a unit or 2 more, depending on how often you would meet and stuff like that. So I would say I probably took between 12 and 16. Depending. I think my biggest course load was like 18 because like there were practicums and stuff like that that you had to add on to certain classes. I think that's generally where I was at. Really depended on the difficulty of my classes. If I was taking more easy classes, then I could take more of them. If I was taking more difficult classes, then I would take less. I think that makes sense. And what was the hardest class you my hardest class was probably my bio class because that was when I realized that I did not want to be a science major anymore. I did not want to go pre-med. I did not want to spend 4 years, let alone 8 years, studying science when I was not good at it at the college level, nor did I enjoy it even in the slightest. So that was probably my hardest class. Alright, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. I do believe that my next college talk video is going to be what to expect in your first week of college because I've gotten so many questions from incoming freshmen who are kind of freaking out about what the first week is like. So I'm going to do that. I know it sounds like something that could be comedic, but I'm actually going to do it seriously because I think that would help you guys better than not. So that is my plan for the next college talk. I don't know when that will be, but that's the plan. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Bye.